We reach Pappengracht. Originally, the Vliet flowed along this route to the Rhine. 16 years ago, the water was vaulted over. At the end of Pappengracht stands a large building. It is part of the Prinsenhof. The princes of Oranje-Nassau stay here when they visit the city and live here when studying at the university. Other important guests are also accommodated here. Obliquely facing it is one of the many Leiden almshouses, the Sionshof. Poor married couples live here. The Sionshof will later move to a site behind Haarlemmerstraat. This is Woldersgracht. It was once the most important canal in the city. Many wool workers lived here. The wool industry has moved to the eastern and northern districts, where the wind blows the stench away from the city. Further along, the open water comes to an end. This is the start of a vaulted-over section that continues all the way to Steenschkuur. The last part of Woldersgracht will also be vaulted over in the coming years. As a result, the Woldersgracht will be turned into one long bridge and be given that name Langebrug. A large building towers over the other houses. This is the Gemeendelandhuis. It is the seat of the Hoogheemraadschap of Rhineland, the organization responsible for water management in the area between the River Ij and Leidschendam, from the coast to Bodegraven. In 1578, the Hoogheemraad bought this large residence between Woldersgracht and Breestraat. The rear still looks medieval. In 1598, the Breestraat side was given a splendid new facade. Across the street from the Gemeendelandhuis is the Catharina Gasthuis. This is the city's oldest social institution, probably founded around 1270. It originally provided shelter, mainly for vagrants and the homeless. Now it cares for the ill and looks after old people. The chapel of the Catharina Gasthuis has been used for the last 11 years by the Walloon Reformed congregation. It is an annex to the Walloon Church in Haarlemmerstraat, which is now too small. We continue along Breestraat. This is actually the old Rhine-dike. The city of Leiden came into existence on this southern Rhine bank. This probably happened somewhere in the 12th century. So this is the oldest part of the city. Several medieval houses still stand here, such as these buildings opposite the town hall. They are huge, sometimes like urban castles. The Leiden Town Hall is admired for its superb sandstone Renaissance facade, built in 1596. The well-known architect Leiden3 of Haarlem was involved in the design. The new facade was placed in front of the medieval building complex, which made up the old town hall. The town hall is not just the seat of the city government. Here, justice is administered, livestock for slaughter is inspected, and meat is sold. Past the town hall, we descend via Korenbrugsteeg to the Nieuwe Rhine. Some 1,000 years ago, the Rhine flowed into the sea at Katwijk, and the main arm of the river was here. Nowadays, you find the goods markets on the banks of the Rhine, for Leiden has no market square. The goods market is the most important one for miles around. On the Kornbeursbrug, grains are traded. On the south bank, you can buy chickens, eggs, butter and cheese. On the north bank, vegetables and fruit. On the stalls of the saltwater fish market, Katwijk fishermen and their wives sell their catch. On the Visbrug, there are live fish, and on the Aalmarkt, freshwater fish. Further along the Rhine, flowers and plants are for sale on the present Boommarkt on the south side of the river. The weighhouse and the waaghoofd play an important role in trade. The large wooden crane on the waaghoofd hoists the goods out of the small boats in which they arrive. The goods are weighed in the weighhouse. The old medieval weighhouse will be replaced in 1657 by a new one designed by Peter Post. It's not surprising that a market town developed on this spot in the 12th century. It was at a major road junction. The Rhine was traditionally the chief east-west route in the region. This is where the two arms of the Rhine that divide Leiden3 come back together again. In fact, they shape one big island, the Waard Island. On the north side, a river flows into the Rhine. This is the Mare, an old peat river that links Leiden with the north. The Vliet originally flowed from the south into the river, some 100 meters further along. Until well into the 13th century, the bridges over the two arms of the Rhine and Hoogstraat formed the only bridge over the Rhine between Utrecht and the coast.